Hi, Ashley here, Broken Childhood Support Admin. I have the Facebook page Broken Childhood Support for supporters and survivors of sexual abuse, childhood trauma, or sexual assault, adult trauma. And I have two groups. Broken Childhood is a secret group. You would need to message me or email me at brokenchildhood582@gmail.com or Facebook Messenger or on here that you want in the secret group. I will find your Facebook, or you can send me a friend's request and a message, and I'll send you a friend's request on Facebook and put you in the group. Or I can send you a link on Messenger. I think the link still works. Or if you don't mind if you don't mind being in a closed group, you don't have to have the secrecy. Broken Childhood 2.0 is the other group. So you can message me on Broken Childhood Support Facebook page. I have a topic tonight, but before I get to my topic of relationships after trauma, I want to read, this is in one of my PTSD workbooks, it's a different directions, but I decided I would use these sort of as affirmations, maybe, or at least I can read two of them, and then I'll post the other ones in the group for the members to have all of them from the actual book instead of my handwriting. Excuse me. I have the capacity to expect that I will get the things that I need to survive. I have the capacity to be assertive in expressing my wishes, dreams, and goals once I have identified them. And then now I'm going to start on the topic of relationships. And I have plenty of books, plenty of papers to read. This is probably going to be 2 parts, so I'll see how far I get and see how I want to get the other information out, or if I want to just do a whole second part. So I'm going to talk about these particular ones are the effects of sexual abuse, but these are very similar to others that you may feel if you've experienced trauma and you have PTSD or CPTSD or just guilt, shame, depression, anxiety, and had experienced any kind of trauma, whether that be a loss of a loved one, witnessing domestic violence in your childhood, being sexually assaulted in adulthood, or being molested or raped in childhood or adolescence. Any trauma you suffered, there's going to be some sort of effects, unless, like some people, you experience trauma, it happens, you are able to share it, you're able to get help, you're able to mourn and process and get through the trauma itself, and you're able to be on the other side of it and not have any hard feelings about it, not have any anxiety around it. So let me, this is from the Surviving Childhood Sexual Abuse workbook of mine. So these are the effects of sexual abuse: fears, anxiety, phobias, nervousness, nightmares, sleep problems, depression, shame, guilt, feeling like a victim, lack of self-confidence, feeling different from others, feeling self-conscious, feeling unable to take action or change situations, feeling dirty, obsessed with cleaning or washing, constantly anxious thoughts, suicide attempts, constant anxious thoughts. I don't know, I feel like I said that wrong completely. Suicide attempts, self-harming, blackouts, fits or seizures, gaps in everyday memory, binge eating, self-induced vomiting, compulsive eating, anorexia nervosa, obsessed with body image, no interest in sex, fear of sex, avoiding sexual activities, avoiding some sexual activities, feeling unable to say no to sex, obsessed with sex, aggressive sexual behavior, flashbacks, feeling of reliving parts of the past. So flashbacks could be visual flashbacks, night terrors, nightmares, or emotional flashbacks, or disassociation or amnesia, or all of those kind of fall in that. I don't think they mention the rest of them on this particular list, but those applies to as well. Hearing the abuser's voice when he or she isn't there, seeing the abuser's face when he or she isn't there, confusion about sexual orientation, whether that be homosexual or heterosexual, confusion about sexual identity, male or female, unable to get close to people, marrying young to get away from home, relationship problems, excessive concerns about security of home or self, alcohol problems, drug problems, employment problems, being re-victimized, criminal involvement, needing to be in control, delinquency, aggressive behavior, bullying, abusing others, clinging and being extremely dependent, anger, hostility, problems communicating, working too hard, trusting, oh my goodness, people, difficulty in being able to judge one's trustworthiness, difficulty relating to children, other problems. So you may be asking yourself why I'm giving you the effects of sexual abuse on the individual or survivor or victim, whatever you call yourself, and why I'm not talking about relationships. What sense does that make? Okay, so with all those, and just to rename a few: shame, sleep problems, feeling dirty, blackouts, hearing the abuser's voice or face, confusion about sexual orientation, no interest in sex, let's see, maybe one more, and then we'll get to the point. Clinging or being extremely dependent. Just those few that I renamed. Could you imagine being in a relationship with someone like that? And not like that, like in a negative way, like that as in being the survivor and having only 5 of these. And this was an awful long list. I was growing impatient with myself. And these are just the effects of sexual abuse. Since this applies to sexual abuse, could you imagine the military PTSD? Could you imagine the trauma being losing your whole family, or there's so many. I can't even name them all. Just your trauma, imagine those things being a part of what you bring into a relationship, which is not your fault. So I'm not blaming. We're not poking fun. We're not blaming anyone or shaming anyone about this. This is okay that you have these problems. I was this person coming in with this baggage, and it was a lot more than 5. So I understand it's a process, and part of healing is getting rid of the toxic people in your life and being able to maintain good relationships, healthy relationships with coworkers, with your family, with your friends, with strangers on the street, at the mall, and also with your spouse, your partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband. And another thing I wanted to share as well, and this is also going to seem like it does not have anything to do with relationships, but I want y'all to think of a situation, and maybe as I go through speaking more about this thought record sheet, and you're not going to be able to see it. Hold on. It is more than likely, it looks like it's from a book, but it's also from get.gg, which I'll probably have. It's probably a bigger link than that, but it's a therapy aid sort of thing. Therapist aid, I think, is one. .com is where you can get sheets for free, and you can download them, and then you can see them in like a mobile app or web page. It would just be the sheet, the single sheet. Hit the heater. Okay, so think about a situation, just the last situation that bothered you, the last argument you got in, the last, I don't know, time you had a meltdown, cried, without having anything, any outside environment affecting you, but you just cry from internal stimulus. Okay, so think of that situation, and think about your feelings and your moods. So you're probably already there, and you're already reliving the feelings and the moods. Think about some of those automatic thoughts or things you've uttered to begin with initially when that situation happened, and then think about the images, think about the visual responses, your past encounters like this situation. Okay, so think about, oh Jesus, think about the evidence that supports the hot thought. So the automatic thought that you had, what evidence can you find that supports that? Well, guess what you're going to find? You're more than likely going to find, hey, this situation reminds me of this other situation that I had in my past. It has something to do with my trauma. Or the way that person reacted to me acting the way I did, or me reacting to the way that person acted towards me. All of that is going to be some sort of trauma response, pretty much. So something that happened in the past, and then something else happens in your present, and you relive that trauma, and you react or overreact, that's the point, to whatever happened here. So this situation has nothing to do with how you reacted. Maybe halfway, maybe 50%, maybe 20, maybe 80. But some of it has to do with the past and your reaction. Okay. Then you're going to think of evidence against it. So you're going to think about things you've learned. You're going to think about what maybe you learned afterwards, because since this is a situation that recently happened, it's already happened. So you're going to think about that, your reactions, and how you overreacted, or how maybe you have talked it through, or maybe you've talked to someone about it and somebody did give you some pretty good insight as to what may have transpired, or how you might have overreacted or underreacted to something. Okay, so then it would lead right into this one. Think of alternative and balanced thoughts. So you're just going to go straight from automatic thoughts and your feelings, and you're going to come back over here and you're going to flip the script on those. You're going to completely change that wording, and you're going to change the meaning of those things, and you're going to create alternative and balanced thoughts about the situation. And then you're going to rate your mood and how you're feeling now. And do this 1 day a week for a month. 4 times. 5 times if we're lucky. And you're going to just pick a day and do this for just one situation a week. Something that went right, something that went wrong. And write it down. And this is something you can do about your relationship. I actually have relationship and PTSD at the top for something I've done, I don't know how long ago, probably a year ago or so, or more, I think more. Okay, so this is another, I cannot find this book, so I'm glad I found this in my filing cabinet. This is How to Be an Adult. And I don't know who it's by unless these are just copies of it. I don't think the author's on the copy. It's just the title of the book. I'll look it up later. I got it on Amazon, so you more than likely can find it when I find a picture. Okay. What we are able to offer once our ego is healthy. So once you start recording your thoughts, rating your behavior, rating your feelings, and that's like the CBT, oh my god, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy model. Thoughts and behaviors and feelings, thoughts, behaviors, feelings, thoughts, behaviors, feelings. It's all a cycle. Behavior happens, you have a feeling, you have a thought. Another behavior happens because of it, you have a feeling, then you have a thought. And we have to change all these to get our actions to correspond with, well, not correspond, but be positive. So, what we are able to offer once our ego is healthy. 1, an abundance inner source of self-nutrients, so that we are not desperately needy for someone to depend on as a child on a parent, or for someone to take care of as a child of a parent. As a parent of a child. So we're not looking for somebody to take care of, and we're not trying to be the person that they take care of. Trust in number 2, trust in ourselves to receive loyalty and handle betrayal. Adult relationships are not based on implicit trust, as parent-child relationships are. Oh my goodness. My dogs bark at this other strange dog in the neighborhood all the time. Goodness gracious. I'm so sorry. But on a conditional love which acknowledges human mutability. Trust in ourselves to receive loyalty and handle betrayal. Adult relationships are based on an implicit trust, as parent-child relationships are, but on an unconditional love which acknowledges human mutability. Number 3, the ability to give and to receive. I get past my fears long enough to disclose my feelings and receive yours, to show affection, both sexually and non-sexually, and to receive yours. Number 4, respect for ground rules regarding lifestyles, responsibility, sex, and different timing, space needs. Number 5, encouraging fearless and pleased acceptance of others' unique needs, differences, development, and path. 6, an engaged focus on the other so that one genuinely listens to the other's feelings and concerns about the immediate need to tell one's own story. Number 7, a commitment to maintain the relationships during periods of when one's needs are not being met, since the other is valued for one's inherent worth, not just for need fulfillment. Number 8, an ability to tolerate love and anger at the same time. You can be angry at me and I will still love you. When I'm angry at you, I still love you. Yes. Number 9, the ability to pass through the normal phases of relationship, from romance through conflict to commitment, with a love that matures within each facilitude. That's not that word. Number 10, a commitment to a central bond, an enduring given of mutuality, which that weathers the stress and cries of change. This bond is unconditional. If someone else has come along who is more attractive, more fun, just right, it will be taken only as information about the charms of a new person or the deficits of the present relationship. It will not cause a breakup or lead to new involvement. So no matter if you see somebody that is more attractive, more fun, just right, you're not going to shame on that person you're with because you're completely committed. It doesn't, that's just information to you. That's not anything that matters. Although I'm having trouble with this dog barking at this outside dog, reading these makes me even feel a lot better about my relationship, my marriage. And in a sense that obviously I understand all the time, and I'm completely reminded every single day, every single minute. But reading these actually did me some good as far as realizing things. That's interesting. I haven't looked at this information in its entirety in a few years, actually. I've probably thought about it from time to time and probably have actually put my hands on this quite some time to answer a question, but haven't really ingested it as I am reading out loud. I think I'm going to touch base on this. This particular, since I can't find the book, this particular packet a little bit more in the second video, and I'm gonna keep on keeping on because I have more things that I just want to cover and hold. Okay, I'm going to talk about boundaries real quick. I was going to talk about, I have a list somewhere, I couldn't find it, about, which actually had this whole packet of relationship information together and planned for quite some time, and I kind of broke it up a few times answering questions from members and haven't put all the pieces back together. But I was going to talk about issues that are brought up in relationships, but you could message me or comment in not in entirety, and you can paraphrase if you have to, if you don't want public comments, but you can contact me on on Facebook or on here. I'm on Instagram and Tumblr and Twitter at Call Me the Poet. And you can probably find me on Facebook that way, because Call Me the Poet's my personal page. Link, facebook.com/Call Me the Poet. Okay, so I was going to talk about the issues you face, or some of the basic, I guess, paraphrased issues or concepts, whatever, of relationships with trauma or with mental illness involved. But I can't find it, so we're going to move on. I'll probably find it for the next video. And I will dive more into this packet for this book. Boundaries. So, if you Google personal boundaries and you look for a link that is Psych Center or Psych, it's going to be some psych something.com and or psych.com. Anyway, you're going to get a list, and there's like you'll see a stock photo with somebody, I think, covering their mouth some kind of way. I don't know. Maybe their face. I don't know. Something like that. But anyway, you're going to see the picture. And so it's going to tell you personal boundaries. It's going to be emotional boundaries, financial boundaries, spiritual boundaries. I'm going to need you to go over that. And item by item, in emotional boundaries or in physical boundaries or sexual boundaries or whatever, you're going to go each one, and then maybe by the time you get through those, if you can think of anything they missed or something that you think that applies in that category, you can just jot that down too. Go all these, and I want you to write down the ones that you did not realize were a thing, or you can add something that applies more to your life or your situation. And I want you to do that. Then I want you to think about the people that have completely and utterly, continuously, even after you've tried your best to say don't do that have violated those boundaries completely. Whether they're someone that you want to keep in your life or not, that doesn't matter right now. So we're thinking, we're brainstorming, we're writing. If you are still in a situation where that person may find what you're writing about, and you're in my heart hurts for you too. If you're in a bad situation and you think that person that you're going to be focusing on right now that has disrupted your boundaries somehow, I want you to do this activity, and then I want you to burn it, and poof. You can burn it as like your story. Like, you can write your story down, you can burn it, and you can let some of it go. It's not gonna cure it. You're not sending it anywhere. You are spiritually, internally, letting go of something with it. Whether that's something that you didn't realize was a boundary and you were confused about, and that person made you feel bad about it when you were young, you let that go. That little girl has got peace. You are now realizing what personal boundaries are in your adult life. So you can heal what you got going on now with the people that are currently in your life. Then you can go outside of that, and you can think about your past, and you can jot these things down for this and your personal boundaries. So you can target each individual person and your abusers. So you're going to think about those things that they've done to mess up your boundaries. You're going to say, I fill in the blank, when that person, does whatever they do, because that it makes me feel whatever, or when you do that, this is what happens to me. Then you say, I would like for you not to do that anymore, for you to stop talking to me that way, for you not to touch me that way, for you to let me initiate sex, for you to let me say no, blah blah blah. I would like for you to do the thing, or I will not talk to you. I will not go to bed with you. I will not receive phone calls from you, emails from you. I will not work with you on a case. I will not be in a relationship with you. I will not allow you to see, I don't know, whatever you have, if you have children, situations, stuff like that. And this can be for a temporary thing. This can be for indefinitely. This could be until they get their stuff together and treat you better. And another, I jotted down EMDR for trauma and negative thoughts, PTSD symptoms, all those effects, and memory work. CBT. I don't know, for some reason that sounds bad. I don't know if it sounds wrong. Cognitive behavioral therapy and dialectical behavioral therapy. It's about mindfulness, emotional regulation, distress tolerance. Interpersonal relationships. That's a good one for just simple things to. I have a workbook that has the worksheets in it. So if you request something resource-wise that I can take a picture of it with my iPhone, send it to you on Messenger, post in the group if you're a member, post on the page. I could tag you if you've publicly asked for it. I'll tag you. If you've not publicly asked for it, I will reply to you. So I will keep your private life private. I will not tag you. I will not post on your personal page unless we've formed that relationship by you also commenting or posting on my wall or publicly having a conversation with me about a topic. And that's the only time I will ever share something related to that topic or share a resource with you. However you do it to me is how it's going to come back. And that's just because it gives me an understanding of what you're accepting. Okay, so, I don't know. I closed my notebook because I have no more notes. So, I have a few pages in these books. And we're at 30 minutes now. So I'm going to introduce all these books. This packet's going to be first for the next video. So I'm going to have to do a part 2. And you can get all your relationship questions together. And I could do notes for these books. Now this video is probably going to have to be next weekend, possibly. Because I have something for Monday, which is my day off. And then I won't be off for the rest of the week. Okay, so daring to trust, and unless I can specify any differently, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that maybe I got this at a honestly I don't like it, but maybe I got this at a bookstore, but for the most part I got my stuff from Amazon. So daring to trust, more than likely from my Amazon. It is by David Richo, and I cannot say this intimacy. I said it. It's daring to trust, opening ourselves to real love and intimacy. Oh my God, I can't say it now. Intimacy. And this is, I've kind of dabbled in this book a little bit. I don't think I've really dug in this book, not like some of my other ones, but this is a very good resource for me, for my members. and mostly a lot of these books are, they do obviously